Hey everyone, welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. They were talking about don't fight against yourself to lose weight. I think this is one of the biggest mistakes people make when they want to lose weight is they approach it as I know what I need to do and I need to fight against myself to get myself to do it. I know how to eat bad, I know how to eat good, and now it's a battle. And I think that's the wrong way to look at it because really what you're doing is you're learning how to eat in a new way. And let me put it in a contextual sense so you can understand exactly what I mean. If you want to learn how to ride a bike, you're not fighting against yourself to learn how to ride the bike. You're learning how to do it. You don't know how to do it and you're going to figure it out. And it's the same thing for anything you want to learn. You want to learn to play the piano. You don't have to fight against yourself to get yourself to do it. Maybe you got to fight with yourself to stick with it. But it's a point that you don't know how to do it. You're learning how to do it. And that paradigm and that approach and concept is completely different because I think it sets you up for much more success. Because instead of wasting energy thinking you need to fight against yourself, you take that energy and use it to support and encourage yourself in the process of learning. And if we put this into a learning context, that's how you learn best. Not when you make a mistake and then beat yourself and say, oh, I should have done better. I shouldn't make mistakes. And we get that attitude. Instead, we say, okay, I didn't understand that. Let me learn, grow, evolve. Next time I'll be better. And if we keep approaching things that way with that mindset, your chances of success go way up. Because again, the reason you're struggling with your weight is because you don't know how to get yourself to do the things that you know you should do. Yes, I know you should cut calories, you should eat healthier, you should exercise more. I know those vague things on a certain level, but you don't know the granular details of how to get yourself to consistently do them on near autopilot. And that's something you have to learn to understand your mindset, to understand your behaviors, to understand your habits, and to influence them over time so they become the ones that give you the body you want. But it's a process where you need to conserve your energy, and fighting against yourself is squandering it. So I hope you take this to heart, because the more you start to encourage and support yourself in the process of learning, growing, and evolving into the person you want to be, who weighs what you want to weigh, it makes a much bigger difference when you do it that way. Your chances of success go way up. So I hope this helps you out, and I wish you the best with this. So I hope everyone is having a super day. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Let's see here. So Belinda joined your program a few days ago. All right, Linda, nice job. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope everything's going smooth. I was out of town, so if anything is ever goes wrong along the way, let me know, and I will fix that for you. But welcome to the program. Super glad you're here. And be sure to use these lives. If you're not in the coaching piece, get on these lives and utilize them. I'm here every day, Monday through Friday, usually around noon. I started on time today here, right around noon. And I'm usually, depends, but sometimes I'll be here for an hour or two. So there you go. What's up, E? I see E's over there. He says 55 days of PYT. Yes, I lost 8.5 pounds, but the most amazing part is I'm indifferent to the foods around me. I like what I like, calm and relaxed. Now, that's what it's all about, right? That's what we're looking for. Is weight loss isn't enough. That's not enough. You got to stop judging your weight loss plan just on how much weight you lose. I know that sounds strange, but we got to start looking at the deeper aspects of these programs, right? If you're struggling, miserable, losing weight, who gives a shit? Because you ain't going to stick with it. So again, I like what he says here, where it's like, yes, I lost 8.5 pounds, but the most amazing part is the indifference to the shitty, unhealthy foods around her. And I think that's the key part, is that you feel calm and relaxed and you're thinking different. And when you think different, you feel different. When you feel different, you act different. And when you act different, you look different. So yeah, that's awesome, E. Super proud of you. And as I always say, he always triggers me to say this. I don't know why, but some reason you make me always think this. But it's kind of like with E, and it was with most of my clients, but E especially, because she really does have a lot of information and nutrition, is that when my clients join the program, usually they've got a lot of experience. You've tried lots of diets, you've tried lots of eating plans, you've tried lots of different things to lose weight. And so you have lots of wisdom, knowledge, and experience in your background, but you ain't utilizing any of it, because you just jump into a new plan and you can do that one black and white. I'm gonna do this perfect. And you don't really utilize all the experience and wisdom that you've got about yourself. And I like to think that Program Yourself then allows you to unleash a lot of the wisdom and the knowledge that you've already got within yourself to get the results you want. And I think that's what makes it different. And that's why I think you get better results, because it's not a one size fits all plan. It's a process where you figure out what works for you. And I don't know any other way that you can really succeed other than that. than other than figuring out what works for you and building your plan around you. So yeah, for E, that's exciting because E has a tremendous amount of nutrition knowledge, and to be able to have the mindset now behind that, yeah, makes all the difference in the world. So that's wonderful, E. Great job. What's up, Ronnie? Ronnie says, hello, my anti-dieting father. Welcome back. What do I do with leftovers after a pleasure day? Usually these are foods that don't make me feel the best. However, it doesn't feel good to just dispose it. Yeah, that's real too. I remember reading a couple years ago, and I thought this was so interesting that, it's hardwired into us not to waste food. Again, so much of our mental wiring in our brains and nervous systems are wired related to food, because eating food was literally the number one thing that allowed us to survive, procreate, move forward. So basically, we got these bodies that at the end of the day, they're really wired to eat and make babies. You know what I mean? Like honestly, eat, survive, make babies. And eating's right at the top of the list though. So you have to understand that so much of our brains are wired up with food. And so the idea that we're going to have food in front of us, because we evolved in a food scarce environment. So the idea that we're going to have food available to eat and we're not going to eat it, we're literally going against our nervous systems and our psychology and our biology. And so it does feel weird. So how do you deal with that? Well, there's a couple different ways. The way I look at it is I've gotten very good. I will say I'm pretty good. It's a little of both. One is I've gotten good at structuring my pleasure days so there's not a lot of leftovers. That's one piece of it. The other piece, though, is that there are leftovers. I just cut it off. I'm just done with it. So I do get this. Sometimes I get my Saturday night meal, I'll make too much pasta and I'll have that. It'll be there, the next day or whatever. And most of the time I won't eat it because I've made peace with the fact. And again, this takes a bit of conditioning because you're overriding evolutionary biology concerns, like literally. And so the same things though that make you not overeat. Let me just take a step back. Again, this is why I think mental programming is so important, because I think we step into this reality we all live in now, which is an alien environment. It's completely unnatural. We live literally we live on Mars at this point, especially when it comes to food. We're surrounded by foods that aren't even real, never even existed before 100 years ago. And now this is what we're surrounded by. So in reality, I think if you have any chance of really mastering your weight, you've got to upgrade your mindset, and you've got to put it a different way, you've got to upgrade the software in your brain and update it for the reality we live in now, because we don't live in a natural, normal environment. We live in a hyper palatable, addictive food environment. And so you need to upgrade your mindset in various ways to thrive in this environment. And one of those ways is, I think, when there's extra food and you don't finish it, is being at peace with letting it go. And I think that takes some work for most people. But you can get there. I think in general, developing the ability to have an indifference for food is probably one of the most important skills that you can develop to master your weight. And so I think just letting it go is a process that you work on and you get good at it. And that's all I can say. And some foods are easier to let go of than others. Okay. But that's what I'd say to you, Ronnie, is that, you get to the point where you have leftovers, and if you don't want to eat them, if they're not going to move you towards your weight goals and your health goals, you let them go. You give them to someone, or you get comfortable letting them go. So, all right. So also, why do we tend to want to overeat after a pleasure day of the day after a binge? Well, yeah, I mean, listen, when you have where you overeat one day, or you have a pleasure day where you're eating, more fun foods, more palatable foods, the next day, you're probably gonna have a bigger challenge. I'm dealing with that right now. I was on vacation for a week. I ate a croissant every day of the week last week, and sometimes two. So it's like, even this weekend, I think I got a donut. Maybe I forgot what I had yesterday. But so it's like, I've got all the sugar coursing through my vein. I've got my brain, it's hyped up with that sort of food. So it's harder for me today. Literally, I was driving to the store to get my salad stuff, and I'm like, oh, I love to stop and get a croissant. I love to stop and get I got more thoughts in my head. There's more food noise, as they like to call it, for shitty foods. And that's going on in me. And that's something I'll have to deal with probably over the next week. So, I think part of dealing with that is understanding that that's normal and natural, that the first day after you kind of overdid it with the food yesterday, you binged, you ate the wrong foods, you had a pleasure day. The next day, typically, it's more front and center in your mind, and you might have to deal with more cravings. But I think knowing that prepares you for it, having strategies to deal with that, where you're able to kind of calm down, center yourself, ground yourself, that helps as well. And then most importantly, I think, is having your good, healthy routines in place. It's Monday for me after a week vacation, and I'll fall right back into my routine. Now it's a little hard. I'm like, I don't feel like going to the store. I don't want to do it, but I got to go to the store. I got to get the stuff ready for me. And now I have it ready. And when I'm done here, I'll go make my salad. And that's another big step right back in the plan. So again, part of it is having strategies to deal with cravings and the stuff that comes up. The other part is having your routines and habits in place so that when you get back in your situation, you reactivate them. Now, again, I think it is harder to reactivate healthier habits than not healthy ones. It's a lot easier for me to start eating donuts and croissants and muffins in the morning. And that just kind of happens on its own, than it is for me to get back to eating salads at lunch. But so what? Who gives a shit? Lots of things in life that are good for you are harder to do. Who gives a shit? So again, what I'm saying, though, is that it's a holistic, comprehensive approach to mastering this. It's not like one little technique I could tell you. It's a lot of little things I'm doing. Some of it's mindset, some of it's strategic, some of it's habit-based. There's a lot of different stuff going on. So, but good job, Ronnie. Again, the fact that you're even interfacing with all this is really impressive to me, because that's how you get to ask better questions, and that's how you end up coming with better solutions and strategies. So that's how that goes. What's up, Mario? Mario says, Jesus Christ, these questions. Come on, TikTok. Give me the questions. Mario says, hey, dude, I started missing you. Oh, well, thank you. How was vacation? Vacation was good. It was nice getting away. Had kind of shitty weather. It was a good vacation. Well, the best vacation in the world. Some vacations are great. Some are fine. This was a good one. Not the best. So it was good, though. It was nice getting away. Getting back home was nice. It's a weird year and for a couple different reasons, but I'm glad to be back. And it's always nice to come back and love what you do. That's always a good sign. You're doing the right things in life when they say, when you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. Well, I've worked days in my life, but I do love what I do. And it's nice to be back and doing my stuff. Makes me happy. Mara says, when I don't listen to you here, I start eating more junk like the whole week when you were gone. Well, that'll happen. That does happen. So it's kind of like, because again, I say this to you guys all the time, but I'm not just saying words to you. I am a hypnotist. There is, at the very least, it's a strategic intention. I have intentions to influence you on a deeper level, to change the way you think, to change the way you feel. I do have deeper intentions here than just saying words, and I think the words are important too, but I think that's helpful. So yeah, a lot of people find that. That's why, again, I told you all, I said, listen, when I'm gone for the week, go join the program. I had a bunch of people join the program before I left, and they dove into it while I was gone. So I was happy to see that, happy. And I got all sorts of cool stuff coming too. So I'm super excited that, again, vacation was fun. Got kind of a emotional couple weeks coming up for myself. My daughter's about to go to college. That's kind of the scary part. I think that's why vacation, there's a couple different things going on there, but one of them was, I knew on the other side of the vacation, it was like 2 weeks my daughter's gone away to college, and dealing with that. But anyways, so yeah, I'm glad to be back, and I'll hopefully get you all back on track with your eating if you just listen to the podcast. So that's good to hear. Yeah, a lot of cool stuff coming, actually. I'm really excited for you guys to see what I'm working on. It's a big month of August, getting everything ready to go for September. September is a big month for weight loss for people, in case you didn't know that. What's up, Jim? How's it going? User 109 says, your I'll have it later mantra really helped me this week. Yeah, that's awesome. That mantra is the stuff, right? That's such a great strategy. That thing, that I'll have it later mantra and strategy is at the very core of Program Yourself. Then I kind of did that to some degree naturally, but then I remember reading a study literally about the I'll have it later mantra, where they did a scientific study on that. And it's fascinating, I think. And not just because of the words, but because of what the words trigger inside your mind. In Program Yourself, then we use mantras. You could call them hypnotic suggestions if you choose to, but mantras, hypnotic suggestions, whatever you want to call them. It's they're heuristics. In psychology, they call them heuristics. They're shortcuts that a couple words trigger a avalanche of whatever, neural connections, feelings, behaviors, so on. And so thinking of mantras, I think, is very powerful, which is why in Program Yourself Thin, there's a hypnosis session every day. And each day there's a different mantra in it for a total of 57 of them. And they start ringing around your head. And then each week there's one core mantra and you listen to that at night. And that's there's 8 of those. They're the intense ones that we build around. But the different mantras that you start thinking, what you think in your head, period, probably has the biggest impact on your weight than anything, because what you think in your head leads to what you feel leads to what you do, and what you do obviously leads to what you weigh. So yeah, I'm happy to hear that. And I hope everyone takes that to heart, that I'll have it later mantra. I should pin that video because that's one of my favorite videos on TikTok. But yeah, the I'll have it later mantra is a good one. So I'm glad it's working for you. That's awesome. E says, Jim, will the PYT resets itself or do you do that? I reset it, E. So when you get to the end, just shoot me a message and I will reset it for you. And you will actually have that option now too, that I do have the Thrive program for previous PYT customers. That'll be available this week, where if you choose to, you can continue with the daily sessions. And you get access to the PYT Club. There's a weekly lesson each week. There's a hypnosis session built around that. And then you get daily hypnosis sessions. That's the Thrive program. And there's even more stuff. But I will, that's just kind of an over thing. And that does cost something each month. But then I reset you. If you want to just reset, I can reset you as well. So I'll let you know about that. What's up, Vicky? How's it going? Welcome back. She says, thank you. Glad to be back. Ronnie says, sorry, I have 8 days worth of questions. Is there a reason why I've been able to become all or something when it comes to my self-care, but not when I feel like I ruined my day? Well, yeah, Ronnie, I mean, this is kind of a new thing, So again, logically you get it. And when you're in a good, rational, logical mood, it makes a lot of sense and you act out of that. But then you get emotional sometimes and you go into your habitual ways of acting and responding. And so I wouldn't, again, Ronnie, it's not an unusual thing. Again, I always bring it back to the hands. It's funny. So I might my shoulder thing going on for a couple of years here. And I know a big part of the shoulder thing is that my desk wasn't set up well. So my mouse is up here. My shoulder kind of is up and freezing and it impinges the nerve. And so one of the things I tried along the way to fix that is using my left hand for my mouse. And I can do it. And I did it and I got okay with it. But I noticed every time it started like, I really got to work now, I go back to my right hand because that left hand took extra energy to do, even when I got pretty good at it. And I'm left-handed, by the way, so on top of that. So, but when I use my left hand, it took more cognitive energy to use my left hand than my right hand. So every time I got to work that took more focus, I'd always go back to my right hand. I've since figured out having a keyboard tray seems to be the fix. We'll see what happens. We'll get another month or two and see where we go from that. But already I'm noticing it's made a fundamental difference because now my shoulder's not up here all day. It's down here. Regardless, the point being that when we go and work on changing something, for you with your weight loss, if you're a dieter, you've been all or nothing your whole life when it comes to weight loss. And so when you overeat or you kind of screw up or you ruin your day, it feels like a nothing. Oh, fuck it. I'm done. But we have to just consistently keep working at that. Like if all of a sudden I had nerve damage in my right hand got chopped off, all of a sudden I'm using my left hand. You know what I mean? Like then I'm gonna get real good at it. There's no option, right? Burn the boats. But a lot of times in life, we're not in that situation where it's not a burn your boats thing. I can do my left hand. It feels better, but it's just easier my right hand. And so with this, I explain this to you because this is how our brain works when it comes to, I know all or something's better, but all or nothing is just easy because that's just what I've trained myself to do my whole life. So it's normal and natural when you start to make changes, again, especially against things that you've been doing your whole life, that you're going to keep reverting back to the old thing. And that's completely normal. But if it's important enough to you, see, using my left hand wasn't important enough to me because I got to finding the keyboard tray, which seemed like a better overall solution. Had I not found that, my shoulder would have started hurting at some point and I would have gone back to my left hand. And then maybe at some point I would have said, okay, I got to stick with my left hand. So, this is a normal part of things too, that we go to make a change and then we revert back to the old way, but that's just normal and natural. Don't give it a bunch of meaning. It's just our nervous system. We do what we know. And so hope that makes sense. What's up, Shireen? Yeah, you're here. So glad to see you. Yeah, glad to be back. Let's see my peeps talk about this stuff and feel good again too. Although I had a pretty chill vacation. I would say this is the healthiest vacation I had overall. There was croissants in the morning and a bit of, I don't know. It wasn't really, I don't know. It was kind of a weird vacation though. Anyways. What's up? Awa says, if I eat Kraft macaroni and cheese every day for a year, will I develop tapeworms? I don't know. You probably have the tapeworms are probably the least of your problems if you eat Kraft macaroni and cheese every day for a year. I think I'd rather have the tapeworm than whatever the hell would happen to me if I ate that shit all day, every day for a year. Jim says, this is too much information, but my trips have been so anxious now. I think about food and how much I can or can't eat. It's crazy. I might quit smoking dope. Yeah, well, you pick the path that serves you best. You know what I mean? But again, I will say this, that awareness precedes change, so very rarely do we have to decide to change something. I feel like what works a lot better is we just start to develop awareness, and the change the decision kind of makes itself most of the time. I think, if you really start paying attention, developing awareness and nurturing it, I think you start bringing in so much new information that you're not actually accessing right now that the decision seems obvious so often. And this may be one of those situations for you. And let me see here. And Jim follows it up by saying, I start freaking out and can't even chill, but at least I've already lost 3 pounds. Hey, nice job, Jim. Excuse me. Yeah, well, if you're freaking out, you know what I mean? Who wants to be freaking out and being anxious? That's no fun, right? But, I will say that I know for some people, they tell me they smoke weed and they get really anxious and paranoid and freaked out. And so to me, it becomes very similar to the food, that again, there's 2 experiences of food. There's the anticipation and consumption of the food, and then there's the consequence of the food. And they're usually diametrically opposed, meaning, the foods that you get most excited about, want the most and crave the most and eat the most of usually make you feel the shittiest afterwards, physically, mentally, and emotionally, not just physically. And for some people, the weed, it's like that, right? So it's like, well, what are you doing for? You having fun and relaxing, or are you a nervous wreck when you do it? Right? Well, which one is it? And again, the consequences, it's very easy for us as humans, the way we're wired, it's very easy for us to live in the anticipation and consequence. The anticipation and consumption, a little out of practice, my mouth. I will say that I spent a week not talking all that much. It's fine. I still talk to people I'm around, but it's it's probably like a 70% reduction in talking when I take a vacation. It reminds me, I remember I had a martial arts instructor, and he's like, when I go on vacation, he's like, I get so stiff because I'm not doing, martial arts all day long. And for me, it's like, I'm not talking 6-7 hours a day. I'll probably start misspeaking and stuff. But anyways, yeah. So it's, you got to watch out. It's very easy to live in the anticipation and consumption part and just ignore the consequence phase, and that's applies to a lot of substances and behaviors. Jim says, but I need to lose 32 more. Well, hey, thanks for the little hand thing, little heart. You don't need to lose shit, Jim. Let's, this is a focus on semantics, and semantics matter. If you say semantics don't matter and they're just semantics, which is one of the most ignorant things humans say, in my opinion. But let's look at that, Jim, right? We don't say, but I need to lose 32 more. We say, I want to lose, right? Because you don't need to do shit. You don't need to lose weight. I challenge you all. I don't give a shit. You could be 180 pounds overweight. You could be on the edge of a heart attack, type 2 diabetic, all the rest of it. Guess what? You still don't need to lose any weight. You do not need to lose weight. You don't. It's the wrong word. It's the wrong word, and it's tricking you, and it's creating all sorts of mindset issues for you that you don't realize. So really what it comes down to is you either want to lose 32 more pounds or you don't. And that's a very important question and idea to get your mind around, because when you need to, it's the vibe that you're being forced to, right? I need to lose 32 pounds. No, you do not. You don't need to. You want to, or you don't want to. It's that simple. And once you start having that conversation, I want to, now what happens is you start focusing on all the reasons why you want to lose weight. And what? Here we go. Well, there we go. Restricted, but that's how it goes sometimes. I didn't even mention drugs, but now I can. Let's talk about cocaine, folks. Cocaine and sugar. Anyways, 70 restrictions I can get on TikTok. So yeah, you don't need to lose weight. None of you need to lose weight. You want to lose weight or you don't want to. And 32 pounds, it's a fun journey, Jim, because it's not just the journey as you're finding out now. This whole process of weight has led you to focus on the weed use. And you may be realizing, holy shit, the weed is one of the biggest sources of anxiety and stress in my life. I thought it was relaxing me. I thought it was calming me down. Turns out I'm a madman on it. I'm freaking out from it, And that's the beauty of what we're doing here. Is this isn't about weight. This is about personal development, being the person you want to be. And I can tell you, Jim, I can only speak for myself, but it was more of an alcohol thing for me. But when I took a step back and reflected on my life, I realized the alcohol, for me, it was realizing the alcohol was a depressant. That was for me, I was like mind blowing. And I was like, holy shit, I thought alcohol was the funnest thing in the world. And I don't know if medical depressant is the same as like the layman's term of depressed, but that for me, whatever reason, doesn't matter, because I internalized it that way. And I was like, holy shit, the alcohol is actually making me depressed. Every morning I wake up after drinking like this, I feel depressed. And once I made that connection and shifted that, it changed the way I thought about it. And that was the first step in a lot of steps that led me to realize I don't like the person I'm living as. I don't like being this version of me. I want to be a better version. So for you, Jim, this whole process shouldn't be, ugh, I need to lose 32 more pounds, because that's the shittiest way to frame this. I like to say, I want to lose 32 more pounds because at X, whatever weight that 32 pounds down would be, I would start saying it that way anyways. I wouldn't say, ugh, I need to lose 32 more pounds. I would say, I want to live at X amount of pounds. When I'm at X amount of pounds, I'm going to be the best version because I'm going to feel amazing. I'm going to feel good about myself. The things I did to make that happen, I'm going to be a stronger version of myself, focused, motivated, clear-minded, whatever, I'm filling in the blanks for me, but that's a better way to frame it, I would say. User 109. Do we have access to the program beyond the 8 weeks, or is this needs to be set up? No, you have access to you'll have membership, the members area. You'll have lifetime access to that. Like you'll forever be able to access that and all the updates and things that I do to that. You'll always have that. Okay. What other people might be referring to is that if you want the emails each day, I got to reset that. So just shoot me an email at jim@programyourselfthin.com and just ask me to reset the program, and you'll start getting the emails again. Because sometimes getting the emails, it's just, it integrates into your life, but you'll have a lifetime access to the program. What's up? Hello, Jennifer. Jennifer said hello. I missed that. Shireen says, I'll have it later. Save me from apple pie a la mode and extra glass of wine. 3-bite rule help too. Great job, Shireen. Again, stacking strategies. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. There's Vicky. Vicky says, I'm a lefty too, for writing only, refuse to give in, otherwise ambidextrous, my right hand only. Yeah. I know it's funny. I like doing different stuff with other hands, but I did notice, and I was fine with the left hand. Like if I was just surfing, left hand was fine. But the second, like the rubber hit the road and I really had real work to do, I had to go back to my right hand. That was very funny to experience. I love stuff like that. What's up, Julie? Julie says, I'm starting to look forward to fresh fruit and salads. It's crazy. Yeah, that'll happen. That'll happen. It ain't that hard to get addicted to healthy food. I can tell you that. I don't know if people don't believe that, but it's very true. Very true. And it's not just me saying, I see it all the time. Paula says, maybe no replacement then. I hope not, Paula. Jesus. I don't want to need a new shoulder. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm going to give a couple months and see. And it's like my shoulder has been kind of acting up a little this past week. But I also used it in a lot of different ways. It feels different. I feel like, I don't believe this yet because I feel like I felt this before, but I feel in my gut that some fundamental shift is happening in my shoulder for the good. And so my shoulder does still kind of hurt a little bit in weird ways, but it feels like it's different hurt. And I'm hoping that's because my shoulder's kind of dropping. Things are kind of calming down. You can understand if your shoulder's up like this for 8 years and you work a lot like I do, muscles build up and you start doing this and things get pinched. So I'm giving myself a while to see what happens here, and we'll see. But I hope I don't need a replacement. I hope everything works out. I hope I can start lifting weights again and I will be the most grateful human if I can get my shoulder back, because this is pretty much the only area of my body right now that's not working the way it should. So it sucks. Get out of here, Jim. You're a lefty. Crazy, huh? You know what's funny about me though? Like I'm left-handed. I write left-handed, but I shoot basketball. I'm right-handed, and I throw. I'm right-handed. Which, thank God, I play basketball. I have set up, I put a whole new basketball hoop up in my yard, and it's all repaved. Everything is so nice. It's the greatest. Like my cousin was, I want my cousin, my little nephew, making fun of me all week. He goes, "Yeah, you're old." I said, "Yeah, but I can buy anything I want. I can buy all the toys I want, kid." I was joking, but it is nice. There's some nice things to getting older, and making my basketball court is one of them. I love it. Anyways, I could shoot baskets. Isn't that weird? It's like, it's kind of rotating out things. It's weird movements that hurt my shoulder now. Anyways, who cares? What's up, Marcy? Welcome back. Listen to some of your older lives while you're gone. Awesome. Yeah. I know some people listen to those. Oh, Athena said, "Jim, I gained 15 pounds. Athena, how'd you do this?" Literally only eating whole foods. Damn. Athena, 15 pounds in like 2-3 weeks? What's going on, though? That's a lot of weight. Something's going on, though. Hit me. What's happening? Let's talk about this. By the way, folks, you can absolutely gain a bunch of weight eating whole foods. I know I talk a lot about processed foods and whole foods because for most people, that's the outer ring of weight mastery, is changing up your diet so you eat more natural foods and less processed foods. For most people, but understand, you can still. I've seen people. I've talked with people. They'll eat 30 bananas in a day. So I mean, there's a lot of people on the planet, and there's a lot of eating behaviors. So there's no one size fits all. And even eating whole natural foods doesn't guarantee you're going to lose weight. You know what I mean? I think it certainly makes it easier. But we'll diagnose this if you choose to, Athena, because that's a tremendous amount of weight to put on in a short period of time, whole foods or not. So I'd love to dig in that if you choose to. Let me know what's going on here. Someone says, "How do I make myself to listen to its hunger? Why does it make me eat when I know the finished result?" How do I make myself to listen to its hunger? I'm not sure exactly what that means, but you know, understanding your hunger versus cravings. I literally just did a lesson on this before I left. So, I just posted it actually. So someone, and by the way, folks, if you're following me here, I mean, if you're listening to me now and you like this, you should follow me on social medias. Because I realized a lot of people listen to this and they don't follow me, but you follow me because I got tons of videos going up too. I think they're pretty good. You know, I just had one kind of pop off a little, not a couple, but one was the carb that makes you thin. Wouldn't you all like to know the carb that makes you thin? I know y'all hate your carbs, but what if there was a carb that would make you thin? There is. I just made a video about it. All you have to do is go to TikTok and watch it. Because I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you what the carb is. You have to watch the video. Anyways, what's my point? That if you watch the videos, if you go to you should follow me, but if you watch the videos, the last video I posted was craving versus hunger. So watch that, someone, and I think you'll do that. But why does it make me eat when I know the finished result? Like when we're hungry and we overeat, knowing the finished result, I don't think you do really know the finished result. I think you have a vague idea of it, but I think you're mostly connected to the instant result of what it's going to taste and feel like. That's what I think. So I think that, that's not really true. You might know about it, but you're not connected to it. Ronnie says, "Going back to the ruining my day, it felt very cathartic speaking to one of my bodybuilder friends that reassured me that influencers are not perfect all the time, no matter how much they try to hide. A lot of them have mental health problems. That's why they hyper focus on the perfection aspect. Wrapping this in personal development makes me feel like I'm shifting to the person I'm meant to be. It's finally starting to feel so natural and free to be myself. I regulate my mood a lot better with my relaxation. I go to my therapist twice a week. I feel aligned with my purpose, steady growth." Yeah, there you go, Ronnie. I think everything you just said, I agree 1,000%. I feel sad. I mean, it's one of the main reasons I do all this stuff on social media is because I think the influencer culture is awful. And I think a lot of good people out there just willing to put the work and really looking to make things work for them, but just have no good role models, no good strategies or systems to really utilize and follow. So I think that that's what I'm here for. But everything Ronnie just said, I think makes a lot of sense. I think following Instagram influencers is one of the worst things you could do. There's a great saying, right? Comparison's the thief of joy. And I think if your feed's full of all these fitness influencers, I bet you're struggling. You're either like totally in the game and being perfect, which is about 10% of the people, or you feel like shit about yourself because you can't do what they're doing and you keep trying. And I think, it makes me happy to be out here in real and preach the anti-David Goggins message. That guy seems like a fine guy. I'm not, you know what I mean? Let him do what he's going to do. But it's like, you ain't David Goggins. I'm not David Goggins, you know? And yeah, I don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist, so I can't, but how is his mental health? Again, not, if that's just what makes him happy, God bless him. But a lot of this perfection stuff just does not sit right with me. It just seems like something's a little wrong under the surface. I don't like to judge people, and I don't mean it this way, but it's like, I think if you put so much value into what you look like and being perfect with your looks, I just think it just gives off a lot of, there's something, it doesn't resonate with me. That's all I'll say. So I'm not going to judge it. I'm not going to give my opinion on it, but it ain't for me. I want to be in the ballpark. I want how I look. I don't need to look perfect. What the fuck does looking perfect mean? It's such an odd concept that really, in my opinion, isn't even real. Looking perfect is a weird concept. Being perfect's weirder. But yeah, Ronnie, it's all about personal development, But yeah, the less fitness influencers you all watch, I bet the better off you'll do. I think those fitness influencers are horrible for your mindset. Horrible. Roanne says, I've been a dieter all my life. I've joined your program. Must say the morning and evening message have really made me feel relaxed and more observant of what I'm eating. I'm always looking for substitutes. What would be better than this? I've also realized it's not a race, baby steps. All right, Roanne. Great job. Welcome to the program. And I'm super glad you're here with it. And yeah, what can I say to you all? I tell you this stuff every day. Right. I love the people that join the program and pop in here and say this stuff. I love hearing about it, which that's one thing I'm going to do. That's my goal here the next month or two. I know Christy's the first person I'm reaching out with, but I got a bunch of people, especially people that have been in the program. But if you would like to do an interview with me, like a testimonial interview, I'm going to put a bunch of those together. I haven't done that in a little while, and I've got tons of them. So that'll be fun, though. Because I know a lot of people consider getting the program, but they just don't understand what the hell's going on. And I'm working on making that clearer, too. So anyways, that's awesome, Roanne. I'm proud of you because, yeah, it is baby steps. And once you even approach it with baby steps, I think that alone, I think that's probably the biggest mindset shift you can make is to stop thinking you're going to do it all at once and start approaching this in a college-like mindset where you start giving it the time it deserves and requires, and start trying to rush everything. So super excited. And you're getting right to the heart of it, Roanne, that, first of all, is relaxation and observation. That's the core. Relax and observe. Become aware. Get better at relaxing and become more aware. That's like no diet's teaching you that shit, and that to me is the foundational piece of really mastering your weight. And without that, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know you have a chance in hell of succeeding. I really don't. So Jim says, no, that's not what I meant. Usually my trips are great, but ever since I started caring about my weight and food, that's when I just got super anxious. Oh, I got you, Jim. Yeah. Like how much to eat or not eat, or am I eating too much? What everyone is thinking. Yeah. I get it, Jim. But you can take all the stuff into account, And again, it's here's something we do in the program. This is a core part of it is being able to kind of zoom out from your perspective. We experience life first person. We kind of go through life first person in the moment. It's like we're walking and it's like we're just going straight through. Things are just passing us by. And a lot of times we don't tend to take a step back and look at things from a different angle. So in Progress Self, one of the things we do is kind of float above ourselves and kind of look at ourselves from a different angle. And this allows us to see bigger picture stuff that we don't typically see. So for example, it's like, if you're in a village, right? If you're at a main street in the village, you got that perspective. That's one perspective. Okay. As opposed to standing on the mountain above the village and you're looking down on the village, right? Those are two completely different perspectives that lead to completely different realizations, awarenesses, strategies. And so with your own life, you're going to realize, I know this and I don't know you, and I know you don't do this. I know you never take a step and get that mountaintop perspective on your life. I know you never do this, and I know it. And because you don't do this, you're caught up in the moment to moment reality. And you know what I mean? You're constantly at the mercy of whatever's going on in the moment. So when we start taking a step back and looking at ourselves from a different perspective and seeing things from a different angle, things like that start to, occur. That things we'd been doing, we start to realize there's more stress with it, or There's more pain involved with it than we thought. Food's a classic example of this. Again, in the moment, the food tastes good. And then there's a consequence phase. But what you don't realize is you've gotten good at ignoring and being in denial about the consequence phase most of the time. And when you start to realize just how much pain that food is creating in your life, it's a real game changer. Again, you don't got to bullshit yourself. You don't have to force yourself to eat well. You just allow awareness to take hold and start to become aware of what the fuck is going on in your life. And what's going on is you're eating yourself into oblivion. You're eating yourself into depression. I really thought about that. I'm going to do a lesson on this week, but the idea of age, I certainly spent a portion of my vacation reflecting. It was a reflecting vacation for me, I would say, with my daughter about to go off to school, a period of my life, starting and coming to a conclusion in some ways, about to turn 50. So I reflect on this stuff. And I was thinking to myself, the big one, I don't fucking understand. It's the thought that multiple times popped in my head. I don't understand what some people are thinking. And I would say it's the majority of people in terms of getting older and their weight. And I speak to this because I think most people that want to lose weight, their main motivation is they want to look better. And I think that's because that's what you've been conditioned to think. You've been conditioned by the diet industry to think about weight loss mainly as I want to look better. Before and after pictures, millions of weight loss ads in your lifetime of before and after pictures has conditioned you to think about weight loss motivation as I want to look better. Versus wanting to have a good quality of life while you're alive, wanting to live as long as you can. I mean, as I turn 50, I feel my body changing. And I've spent the last 30 years doing yoga, nourishing myself, eating, living a healthier life, and I still notice it. So I don't know if you've ignored all this shit. I don't know the level of denial. You have to tell me what it is, but how do you equate your weight with your quality of life and your probable length of life? Do you just ignore it? Do you not think there's any connection? Do you just not focus on it or think about it ever? Because I think about it all the time. It's one of the top things on my mind because I want to live a long time, but I want to live a long, happy, healthy life. Don't you? And if you do, what impact do you think your weight's gonna? It's not just even the fucking weight, by the way. It's the foods you're eating constantly and overeating that are leading to the weight. The weight is just one symptom of a deeper problem. I don't know why people don't think of it this way. I don't understand it. Again, I have nothing for you. I don't know why. I have my ideas, my theories, but at the end of the day, I really don't get it. I don't know how, if you're in your 50s or 60s and you're 70, 80 pounds, 50 pounds overweight, like, I don't know how you're not directly related to like my fucking joints, my knees, my walking, my mobility, my independence, my freedom, my health, my energy, my vitality, my clarity of mind, the emotions I experience day in and day out. I don't understand. So you would have to let me know if you just don't connect those two or what, if you're doing that, or if you're just so overwhelmed by negative emotions, you can't, that too. But anyways, just that was on my mind. What's up, Julie from Massachusetts? Nice. Loving Massachusetts. I will tell you, Massachusetts this time of year is just mwah. It is. It's just such a great time. It's like those couple weeks right before the fall, and it's like, oh, it's beautiful out. The fall's coming. The fall is amazing around here. Yeah. So yeah, it's a good time to be in Massachusetts. Yeah, there's Julie says, after gaining this weight back, I just want to have my energy back. I want this new back pain to go away. That's what I mean. The back pain, I don't know. Linda says, I joined because I turned 50 in 6 months and I'll be a different person mentally and physically. All right, Linda. Yeah, you and me. I lost 100 pounds 3 years ago and kept it off. Want a little more weight gone. Nice job, Linda. Wow, Linda, that's amazing. Linda, that is so good. Linda, that's so good. I want to hear it. Linda, listen, shoot me a message. Email me at jim@programyourselfthin.com and I'll give you a week of coaching because I'd love to hear your story more and talk to you if you're up for that. That's cool. What an accomplishment. Great job, Linda. So proud of you. That's what I'm talking about. I'll be a different person mentally and physically. And that's what Program Yourself Thin is all about. There's Christy. I was just talking about you, Christy, because I'm going to reach out to you this week. I'd love to set up a time to talk to you and hear your story. Chris says, love sweet potato. Made some great grilled cabbage this morning. Grilled cabbage? I love cabbage. Yeah. Amen. Complete healing in that shoulder. Thank you, right? That's what I think. I swear I know it's going to happen. Jim says, Athena, that's insane. I'm sorry. Yes. Oh, great. You like that video, Christy. Thank you. Yeah. Craving versus hunger. I think it's a great one. I think all my shit's so great. I was at the beach and I was looking at the bookstore at the weight loss stuff. It's like, this is so much dumb shit out there. Not like my stuff. That's so awesome. All right. Athena says, yeah, I ate like all my mangoes and many, many avocados and nuts and dates. And in barely 3 weeks, I gained 17 pounds. But what happened, Athena? What triggered that? Like, were you trying time? What triggered so much of that eating? What's going on? Something must have happened. There's Astrid. Hi, Jim. Welcome back. I'm ready for the next step. Really felt it last week. So much more green beans. All right. I love Astrid's story. You'll all see Astrid's story at some point. I think Astrid is just a superstar. Athena said, this is hard to say on here, but basically I was assaulted on my way home. And ever since I just want to eat. Oh my goodness, Athena. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, I hope you can talk to someone about that because, I was thinking this today too. And I say this a lot where I always say like, listen, I truly believe this too. I feel like almost all weight issues come down to emotional eating. And we use a real vague ass definition of emotional eating that emotional eating is anytime you're not eating for nourishment, to nourish your body. And that for a lot of people, that's a lot of the eating, is just that. But, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry that happened to you, Athena. And, so I want to be sensitive because it's kind of new. And I hope that you're able to speak to someone about this because this is something I see this all the time where the emotional eating is usually it's a symptom of a deeper problem. So the emotional eating, the 17 pounds isn't the problem here. It's not the main problem. It's the presenting problem. It's the superficial problem. It's the symptom of the deeper problem. The deeper problem is you get assaulted and dealing with that. What's dealing with that mean? Well, I can't tell you what that exactly means, but it's having some peace with it so that you can be present with that experience and not have to run away from it in whatever capacity you may run away with it. Some people use alcohol, food, entertainment. It goes on and on. And so that's why I say, I hope there's someone that you can actually speak with so you can get to the core of that and resolve it as best you can. Because the food doesn't, because now you had that thing happen to you and now you got 17 pounds. And so it's just worse, but at the same time, the food isn't the main problem here. You've got this thing that happened and it creates all these issues psychologically and emotionally, and the food never fixes it. It just compounds it, makes it worse. So I'm sorry to hear that happened to you. And I can say, yes, that's a tough one here because I don't want to make any assumptions about what happened. And I don't want to talk about any light of it. KT says, is your advice and guidance the same regardless of what stage life someone is in? Example of perimenopause. Well, nah, I mean, it is and it isn't in the sense that my guidance and advice is always like, figure out what works for you. Right. So I say this all the time, there's no right or wrong. There's only what works for you. So my advice and guidance is always the same, that regardless if you're 20 years old, 100 years old, you got to figure out what works for you. So my generalized advice to everyone is make it customized and unique. I would say like you're creating a one size fits one plan, and Program Yourself then helps you do that. So I think being in perimenopause, you got a different, like specifically lifestyle, eating wise, mindset wise, you're going to do things differently than someone who's 25. Right. But the person who's 25 is going to do something different too. So again, in general, I'm saying it's the same thing I'm saying to everyone. You got to customize what you're going to do. But then as we drill down, you're going to need different mindset stuff, lifestyle stuff, eating stuff, probably because of your situation. So if that makes sense. So you would need something different than the person who's 20 or 70. And I think Program Yourself helps you do that. But what you're going to need is a holistic, comprehensive approach, regardless. Whether you're 20 or 70 or 50, you're going to need a comprehensive, holistic approach. And you're going to need to figure out the mindset, lifestyle, and eating strategies that work for you. and figure them out and then implement them. So in that sense, it's the same. Now, I will say this, that because the majority of my clients in my career have been women in some phase of menopause. And so I will say that the one thing I will tell you, two things. One is eating wise, three things. All right. Let's start with eating. Because we follow the weight mastery pyramid, right? Mindset, lifestyle, eating. So we'll start with eating. Eating wise, when it comes to menopause is real, obviously, right? It's not just a made up thing. It's real. There's real physical effects going on. So eating wise, I think it's not just about cutting calories. It's about transforming those calories into healthier ones. It's also about cutting calories. But I think the smarter way to do that is to start cleaning up your diet, less processed food, more whole natural foods. Okay. Not just cutting calories. The next thing is lifestyle. I think this is really important for people with physical challenges, menopause, insulin resistance, Hashimoto's, thyroid issues, hormonal issues. Okay. I think getting the lifestyle diet is extra important for you. Okay. So that means the lifestyle piece is better sleep, hydration, proper hydration, relaxation, breathing, nourishment, movement, meditation, gratitude. And I think weaving these things into your life in a perimenopausal state is more important for you than it would be for someone in their 30s. Okay. And then the mindset piece I think is really important too, because I think as you start to approach menopause, I was really thinking about a lot of this week, how there is in our culture, there is so little support mental health wise for getting older. And I think that, I think menopause, there's the physical effects of it, but I think the mental effects of it are probably just as impactful. You're getting this new stage of life. It's fucking terrifying on some level. Is it not? It's like no one talks about this. I know people kind of talk about it, but I don't know. So I think there's that piece too, that I know for a fact. I've done almost 6,000 private weight loss sessions. The majority of those have been menopausal women in some phase of menopause. And there's always the psychological piece of it, the mindset piece of it, of transforming your process a bit. You know what I mean? Your motivation is going to be different. The way you think about things, we need to upgrade and update for your situation now. So yes, it is customized to you, but it's always customized to everyone. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, Marcy says, sorry that happened to you. To Athena, gaining weight is a common effect, wishing you healing. But understand this, the gaining weight is a common effect because the overeating is a common response to when something upsets us emotionally. So something bad happens to us and we don't know how to deal with the emotions genuinely. So we turn to things to numb ourselves or distract ourselves from those shitty emotions. And a lot of times it's food. And we start eating a lot more food. And when you eat a lot more food, you put more weight on. And again, there is more stress too. So that doesn't help with the weight gain as well. Jonathan Walker says 50, question mark. KT, food equals comfort for a lot of us, a lot. Yeah, agreed. I believe in this culture, we have been conditioned since birth, for our lives now, all of us at this point, if you're alive, from your entire life, you've been conditioned to use food as pretty much your main emotional management strategy. It's the number one thing we've been taught to rely on. And so learning how to deal with emotions genuinely, I believe, is just a core part of mastering your weight. It was core for me, is getting a handle on my emotions. So I agree. Food equals comfort for a lot of us. Of course, it's foods that, they're engineered foods to trigger that response as A, and then B, we've just literally been conditioned our whole lives to use food to deal with the emotions. So it's a double whammy in a sense, Jonathan says you got to be like 40 max. What? That's nice of you to say. Yeah, user 109 said getting older and their weight just hit me hard. Tears, just turned 50 and feeling the shift. Yeah, I'm glad. Again, yeah, getting older in the weight. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Like that's something I was kind of reflecting on too. Like sometimes I'm gonna have to punch you guys between the eyes and in the gut a little bit. I'm gonna do that a little bit more. I'll give you a warning and stuff, but because I realized I'm not doing any favors by, I was thinking about that. I'm like, I'm going to be less negative to dieters. I'm going to be more, what's the word? More, oh my Christ. How can I think of this word? I'm going to be more uplifting and inspiring intentionally in some ways, but I'm also going to punch you square in the gut sometimes too. Cause, I don't know. I guess I gotta deal with that a little bit sometimes in life, where you just see, sometimes people's decisions, I mean, you can't avoid everything. I understand that, I live in a fantasy world, but you can avoid a lot of the bullshit that we just take on as just part of being older. A lot of it's bullshit. Again, I say this to you guys all the time. We've been so conditioned, we've been brainwashed, literally brainwashed, to give up our health and our happiness, for a moment of pleasure. What's up, Joy? Joy says, hello. Hello there. Paul says, Jim, I have connected the pain and joint issues with weight. It's the feeling of anger and depression as a result that interfere. You just said it. It's emotional eating, deeper problem and dealing with it. Yeah, well, there you go, Paul. And I agree with that. That's why I am always Joel Bauer. This guy is a funny guy. He's great at what he does, but he's a funny character. But he always goes, I would not, as he say, I would not, bring you into the pain unless I had a solution to offer you. And so, yeah, I'm not here to make you just feel bad. I'm here to make you feel bad so that you can step out of the pain for real, but sometimes you got to get straight shot to the gut for it. But then we got to manage that too. You know what I mean? Because we can go into my fucking knees I feel like shit. And then we feel so overwhelmed that now we do nothing, so you've got to do it strategically. You've got to experience the pain strategically, because the pain's a huge part, probably the most important part, technically, of the motivation. But we got to learn how to use it right, which a lot of people do not know. Rick says, preach. See, I guess some people like hearing that, because I guess, yeah, it's just to do it, right? John said, I wanted to just hop on here to say I've lost almost 20 already, so halfway there, but it's getting harder with the motivation. Motivate me, dude, please. 20 pounds already. Great job, Jonathan. So, I mean, look at you. You know what I mean? You're, what, a month and a half? Oh, you're 2 months away from everything you dreamed of. Like, where's the motivation struggling from? Reflect on, keep thinking about your wedding and where you've been at, and how you want those pictures to look, and it's only 2 more months. You know what I mean? But you're right on track. Good job. Miss Mary says, I am, but the pain interferes with regular exercise. It's a great struggle. Being motivated helps. Yes, for sure. Carrie says, Hope Vocation was perfect. Yes, it was very good. Rick says, thanks for all your encouragement. You're welcome. Yeah, Spence 86, wish I could take Athena's pain away. I always feel that way too. I wish. Sorry that happened to you. And said, yeah, it's hard when your only family member is a dad who has layaways. Oh, has always told me if I dress a certain way that it'll just happen, but it's all right. I talked to a very close friend of mine. Yeah, I'm sorry, Athena. And, well, I'm the belief that obviously, I think we all know you should be able to dress any way you want and be safe and secure. But it's an unfair world, and shitty things happen. And it's what you do with it now, Again, I don't like to talk about this stuff because, there's real serious shit that happens to people, and I don't like to make light of it. I don't know the situation. I'm just giving you, vague solutions to things. But I have worked with the worst stuff that can happen to a human being on the planet Earth as well. And so going to that level, and I will tell you this stuff, is that now you're a little close to the experience probably. But that's why I say talking with a professional for this situation would probably be helpful. Friends are good, but a professional has usually, obviously got more skills usually, but they've got probably more than anything, they've got a different perspective. And, yeah, I think that would be helpful. But I will say this, and this is a magic question I find even in the worst situations possible. And I say this referencing Viktor Frankl, who literally his family was brought to a concentration. He's a Jewish psychiatrist who wrote Man's Search for Meaning. But the worst situation possible, probably. But again, the idea was that we get to decide what we focus on. And one way to kind of get into that is to say, how do I want to feel about this awful thing that happened to me? Because a lot of times what happens is something terrible can happen and we go into reaction mode. We just react to it. And we kind of forget, there's stimulus, there's interpretation, and there's the feeling of it. And we forget sometimes of that human quality we have that makes us so powerful is the interpretation phase. that the worst things in the world can happen to us, but we can still interpret it. We can have some control over how we interpret it, which changes the feeling. And so for Viktor Frankl, even in that awful situation, which is as bad as anyone can imagine, he realized the one thing they can't do is they can't take my thoughts away from me. They can't control my thoughts. I'm still in here in my head, and I can change how I approach things. And so it takes an awful situation, makes it a hair better. And so with even this thing here, a lot of times we just react to it and say, this awful thing happened to me. And so I'm going to just naturally respond this with all this awful emotion. And sometimes we forget, we say, how do I want to feel about this awful thing that happened to me? And that gives us a little bit of daylight sometimes to say, I want to feel like I'm going to become a stronger, more powerful version of myself, who's more resilient, stronger, more, focused, or whatever qualities you have, but it allows you to start to define it instead of feeling like you got that taken away from you, because you did get something taken away in that moment, but now you're back to having more control and autonomy. And so remember that and start tapping into it. And sometimes that can be a pathway back to feeling better, Julie says, I lost 23 pounds in 2019, need better. I want to lose 30 pounds. Yeah. Nice job, Julie. That's great. Yeah. It doesn't take a lot for the knees to feel a lot better. I remember reading a thing, where the way the body mechanics work out is that for every pound of extra weight we carry, it's equivalent of 4 pounds of extra pressure on our body. Right. So the way our bodies are set up, the weight magnifies down at the knee joints. So yeah, I mean, in its knees, it's comfort, it's mobility, it's flexibility, all of these things. As we get older, they dramatically impact your day-to-day quality of life. So, yeah, okay, yeah, KT says that. Definitely, it's definitely scary. The whole new stage of life with heading towards menopause definitely freaked out. Yeah, I get that, KT. And that's what I'm talking about. That's why I say, like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, I'll give you a fucking eating plan. Do you know what I mean? This is such a great example. KT was asking about, what would you say? Would you give me specific guidance if I'm a perimenopausal woman? Would you give me different guidance, or would you say, oh, it's the same for me as it is for everyone? And no, of course not. I mean, everyone's situation is unique and different. Everyone's. And that's why I couldn't just give you an eating plan anyways. Imagine like you are, and again, I don't give a shit, folks. I don't care what stage of life you're in. You're freaking out about something. And if you're approaching menopause, you're freaking out. And it's bad enough just the physical stuff. And I feel like they're always like just talking about the physical part of it. Oh, heat flashes, all this different stuff that may happen. And I respect all that. I know that. But what about the fucking mental part of it? Like, it's just, that's why, again, the breakdown of eating, lifestyle, mindset. If I sit here and say, oh, okay, KT, here's an eating plan. Here's your perimenopause. Hold on. Let me grab my perimenopause eating plan. That's 5% of the fucking problem is knowing what to eat. Perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, 20 years old, 80 years old. It doesn't matter. The eating part is about that much of it. Knowing what to eat. It's how's your emotions doing? How's your mindset doing as you approach this new transformation of life? Change in the last 25 years into a whole new phase of life. How's it doing facing your mortality? Fuck, I'm already losing people. Anyways, I got restricted on TikTok, so fuck it. But it's like, as you, because there's life phases, and it's like they are what they are. So the menopause shit is like, fuck that to begin with, just the bullshit of that. But then there's just all these major life things. What they all about, I believe this, and I don't care. You believe this or not, I don't care. I believe this, but I believe behind every like major life event, good or bad, it's just one more chance to face mortality. And so sorry to bum everyone out, but I truly believe this. I believe, mortality is at the back of like every big event that happens in life, especially timed events, having a kid, having a kid go off to college, menopause, all these different things that may happen, becoming a grandparent, all these different things happen. And right behind it is the inevitability of mortality. I'm not going to stick on this, but what I'm saying is that these are things that a lot of times we never pay attention to. We just fucking ignore them, because that's what we do in America anyways. We just ignore it. We'll start eating food and distract myself. But is that feeling there? And we run away from it. We're trained to run away from it our whole lives. And I think it's intentional, I think, because it leads to consumerism and eating and bullshit. But if we can sit present with it, oddly, experiencing these emotions genuinely, they pass through us and we end up in a better place, I think. So anyways, not to bum everyone out. But I'm just saying, I get what you're saying, KT. You're not crazy for feeling what you're feeling. That's what I'm trying to say to you, because I think that's what the weirdest part of being in America. It's like, say you're going to menopause and it's like, oh, why do I feel so weird? Why do I feel kind of depressed lately, or I feel kind of stressed out, or I feel kind of anxious? And it's like, no shit. I don't know. Maybe I'm too sensitive in life. I don't know. But anyways, I think so. It's like you're feeling all this stuff, right? Physically, you're changing, mentally and emotionally, just in a weird space. And then you feel like you're a fucking asshole because you feel weird. That's the part of America. And it's not just America. I work with people around the world. It's common, but it's especially America. It's like, then you feel like extra shit. You know what I mean? You're just heaping shit on top of shit because you're just like, oh, now there's something wrong with me because I feel, oh, why do I feel weird? Why do I feel kind of anxious lately? Why do I feel a little depressed lately? And then you feel there's something wrong with you because you feel that way. Well, there's nothing wrong with you. It's normal and natural. Moses says, wow, Jim, you're amazing and so intellectual. Well, thank you. Marcy, I'm down 15 pounds in 3 months. All right, Marcy. That's awesome. Marcy's in the program. And Marcy, I gotta make sure. I told you I was gonna give you a week of coaching. And so I did not forget that yet. I'm going to do it. I'm going to write this little note here. And I'm going to remind myself because the message will come out tomorrow. If I didn't already do it yet, which I know I didn't. So get you in there. That's so great, Mars. I'm so proud of you. 15 pounds in 3 months to me is, mwah. I think 5 pounds a month is a sweet spot. I'm never judging anyone's weight loss, but I'm just saying, I think 5 pounds a month's a nice one because it's reasonable. It's sustainable. 5 pounds a month makes me think you're not doing anything crazy. You've kept it up for even 3 months. I think that's great. You've got your head wrapped around not instant weight loss. So that's good. So great job, Marcy. Super proud of you. Yep. That's incredible. Very good. And the best part of Marcy is how she's doing it. Marcy's got her head screwed on straight. She's in the program. Marcy says, my husband made steamed before the other day, and it was the first time I said, those smell good. Steamed veggies. All right. Yeah, again, flavors and tastes are so relative. I'll give you an example of what I mean. It's so crazy. Where I went on vacation, their water quality sucks. And I'm like, that's one thing I'm going to change. If I go back the next year, I'm definitely going to bring a filter. But it's very chlorine-y. Well, one big change I made is my wife's let me know, if you pour a pan of water out, leave it out at night, the chlorine kind of evaporates. And it worked. It was way less chlorine-y. I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. And then it's so funny. I'm driving home from there and I'm like, I go drink some water and I'm like, holy shit, this tastes awful. So it's so funny how the environment you're in affects so much, because when I was in that environment, drinking that water that had been left out, it tastes great. It tastes way better. When all of a sudden I'm drinking the water in my normal environment, I'm usually drinking my home water, it tastes absolutely horrible. So what I try to tell you is that taste and flavor is very mental. There's a lot involved with it. So I'm glad to hear that, Marcy. And that's the beginning of a lot of delicious steamed vegetables for you, because they do taste better when you get used to them. So Moses says, what's celery juice good for? What's celery juice good for? I don't know. Watering plants? I don't know. I would eat the celery because the main thing I'd want out of the celery is the fiber. I remember reading this book one time. I don't believe it. I kind of researched it, but then I kind of let it go because it just seemed too silly to me. But it was a whole book about gel water. It was like a fourth state of water or something. But I don't know. I don't know if I buy into that. Maybe it's real, maybe it's not. But anyways, don't juice your celery. Eat the celery. Moses says, I've lost 10 pounds, but now I got to lose 50. I was making sure to be as hungry as possible and drank protein shakes for dinners. I read that they're good. Moses, are you joking with me? Are you joking me? I'm glad you lost 10 pounds. Let's start with this one again. Just real quick. Now I got to lose 50. You don't got to lose any weight, folks. I'm telling you, you don't need to lose weight. You don't got to lose weight. You don't have to lose weight. You don't. You may think I'm joking or being a semantical police officer. I am not. You do not have to. You do not have to. And when you use those words, it takes away your autonomy. It makes it feel like you're being forced to do it, which leads into this whole problem because in your, we don't need to go on the voices in your head, do we? The voices in your head, you got voices in your head. And the three categories of voice you have is you have a child voice, a parent voice, and an adult voice. And mostly you got a parent child voice. With your weight loss, you're trapped in a parent child dynamic. Okay. Your child wants to lose 50 pounds in a month and do extreme things to make it happen. Your parent voice is there to tell you why that's stupid. And every time you mess up, how much you screw up and telling you need to lose weight. And locked in that dynamic, you're never going to lose the weight. So much of it's about creating this adult coach supportive voice. All right. But, making sure to be as hungry as possible is a great way to lose a bunch of weight and then put it all back on really quick because you will not be able to fight the hunger off forever. So that's a bad strategy, Moses. I'm glad you lost 10 pounds, but that's a strategy that's going to make you put it back on. But Moses, again, he's a carnivore guy, which lets us know that Moses is attracted to these extreme methods. He's a young man, right? So I always say I got my young guys on here. You guys got your own way. You want to do extreme shit, but that's how it goes. But good. Keep it up, Moses. Marcy said, I knew you didn't forget. I figured I'd let you get back into it before I bug you. No, that's fine, Marcy. If for some reason I do forget, which I don't think I will, let me know. Oh no. Moses says, no, what, Jim? I'm for real. Am I stupid again? No, I'm not saying you're stupid because here's the thing, Moses. You've taken action, you've gotten results. So that's never stupid. I don't give a shit. I joke around about the diet stuff just because it's not a good strategic one for the long term. But listen, I applaud anyone taking action. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. I don't care. But then we got to look at the quality of the action you're taking. Is it set up for the long term? And to be hungry as you can be, to rely on protein shakes, that's a short-term strategy in most cases. Unless, and here's the litmus test, Moses, are you willing to eat protein shakes and be as hungry as you've been for the rest of your life? That's the question, folks. And if you ask that question on whatever strategy you're using, keto, intermittent fasting, Weight Watchers, tracking calorie, whatever you're doing, you got to ask yourself the question, is this something I can see myself doing and would like to do for the rest of my life? And when you ask that question, if you feel like, oh my God, no way, then you're on the wrong track. That's how I look at it. Unless you like losing weight and putting it back on. If you like that process, I'm not speaking to that. I think a lot of people like that process. So if you like to lose weight and put it back on and lose weight and put it back on, if you like that whole thing, then keep dieting, keep doing extreme shit. But if you want to lose weight and keep it off for good and live as a thin, healthy person for the rest of your life, you need strategies that you're going to follow for the rest of your life. So, again, that's the first, you get, when it comes to your weight, you've got two paths you can walk down, and it says, okay, do I want to walk down the weight loss path where I lose as much as I can as quick as possible? Or am I walking the weight mastery path, which I'm going to figure out how to get to my goal weight and live there the rest of my life on your autopilot? And then, so those are they're I can't remember where this go anymore. They're literally walking in separate directions. Literally. Because, and you say, well, no, Jim, it's not, they're both losing weight. No, because the other one's going to put the weight right back on. So it's like, it's literally the opposite direction. So if you love losing weight and putting it back on, I would say that. Oh no, Moses. Why? Couldn't you give me a day, Moses? I feel like you're trolling me. Moses said, no, Jim, I will just figure out my maintenance and eat that way once I'm at my goal weight. Cool. Moses, I wish you the best with it. Okay. I'm just saying, again, don't get mad at me because I'm just saying the statistics that 95% of people, it's estimated, that lose weight on a diet, put it back on. And I kind of define dieting. There's a couple ways to define it, but I think the big technical definition of dieting that I see is that you got your average calorie consumption and your average weight on the other side. And then you drastically cut the calories down by 30, 40, 50, 60, 70%. And then what are you going to do? You're going to lose weight. And then when you get to your goal weight, what are you going to do? You're going to magically bring it up to this maintenance area, right? The fuck? Does anyone ever bring it up to the main area and stay there? Well, 5% of people, I suppose. So doing extreme shit and then what? But hey, I wish you the best, Moses. I mean, you got Mario over here. Mario's going to pray for you. So between Mario's prayers and my hopes and prayers, there we go. Hopes and prayers. I think that you'll probably not get good results. What do you want? Moses, don't do this to me. You know what I'm going to say. You listen to me all the time. I mean, you know I'm going to say it. So I wish you the best, and I hope it works for you. I hope you're part of that 5%. That's what I hope. What's up, Don? How's it going? See, Pickett says, I know Pickett's in the program. A few years ago, I lost 15 pounds in 6 weeks just by cutting out junk food and fast food. Would you consider that extreme? I didn't look or feel any different eating real food, and I went back to my junk food addiction. Thoughts and prayers, right? Not hopes and prayers. Yeah, so usually thoughts and prayers, but for Moses, I gave him hopes and prayers. So, yeah. So, okay, let's talk about that for a second. A few years ago, I lost 15 pounds in 6 weeks just by cutting out junk food and fast food. Would you consider that extreme? I would consider that extreme because it's a drastic change in your diet that's not really built for the long term, in the sense that, are you really never going to eat junk food or fast food again? Like, I know it sounds good to say that, but really, you're never going to eat junk food again? You're never going to eat fast food again? Shit, even I eat fast food again. I ate fast food coming home. It was fucking gross. I will tell you, folks, taste is relative. And if you eat a lot of fast food is wonderful and delicious. When you don't eat a lot of fast food and you eat that shit for the first time in literally a year, because I had fast food last year from the same place, and it was fucking gross. This time I got a different sandwich and it was fucking disgusting. It tastes like plastic. So don't mean to shit talk all your delicious foods, but it's fucking gross when you got a normal taste buds. Just so you know. But anyways, I still eat junk food occasionally. You know what I mean? And it's so for you, Pickett, and Pickett, if I'm not mistaken, your name's Edna? Is it Edna? I don't say the wrong name though. But anyways, but what I would say is, because why? So you stopped it for 6 weeks. I didn't look or feel any different eating real food. So that's a funny thing, right? So this comes down to the awareness. This is so common because what Pickett's saying is, I lost 15 pounds in 6 weeks just by cutting out junk food and fast food. And then it said, I didn't look or feel any different. So you're saying I lost 15 pounds. I didn't look or feel any different from losing 15 pounds. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think that, listen, sometimes our awareness, hey, not sometimes. I think most people's awareness is trash, which is why we got to work on developing it. So I think Pickett, as you pay attention this time, 15 pounds can feel amazing. I think you can notice that you would have felt a lot better by doing that. But I also think it's kind of extreme. And I think that's why you didn't keep it up. And so I think what I would suggest, I'm not saying it's the easiest thing. Okay. I want to be clear about this. I don't think it's easy to take 6 days of junk food, fast food eating and compress it down to 1-2 days. I don't think that's easy, but I think it's doable. And I think it's a better strategy long-term because it's exactly this. Because now, instead of thinking like, oh shit, I can never eat fast food or junk food ever again, you say, okay, I don't want to eat junk food or fast food for the next 5-6 days. They feel totally different. So I think for you, Pickett, that I would use the eating blueprint because Pickett's in the program. And I would say, I would practice structuring in some fast food, junk food, but I would compress it down. I would consume less of it, not none of it. Certainly not none of it in the beginning, because I think it creates this all or nothing mindset, this endurance test vibe and feeling, and it's not where you want to be. You want to be in a place where it feels like, okay, this is what I do. This is who I am. This I'm going to live for the rest of my life somewhere like this. And I think what it does is it teaches you to moderate the fast food and junk food as opposed to creating this bullshit idea that you're never going to eat it again. When in reality, what that means is you're not going to do it for 6 weeks, 12 weeks, 3 months, whatever. And then you're going to just go right back to it like it never was gone. So you didn't really change anything. You just implemented no eating it for 6 weeks. And then you went right back to the way you always did. So that's not a real change. And I think it's hard to create a change when you just go all or nothing. It rarely works. So those would be my ideas. And then let me know, though. Again, you got me here on these lives to kind of guide you through this. So think on that and let me know what you think. Spence 86 says, I'm glad you're back on vacation. It was a long lunch hour all week. Oh, good. I'm glad I can make the lunch hour go by better. That makes me happy. Don says, I had fast food during travel and I will go a year easily again. Yuck. Yeah, me too. I mean, I have no desire at all to eat that shitty sandwich. It was fucking gross. So I am thrilled to get back. And it's so funny because I don't know, everything, constant optimization, folks. This is what I try to tell you. And so this year for me, like I'm eating more, I'm nourishing my body at the highest level of my life. And my entire life, this past 2 months has been the most nutrition I've ever given myself. And so then I go away on vacation and it lowers a bit. And to get back to it, I'm so excited. So I can't wait to get back to my farm shares and all that stuff. Yeah, Mara says that. Yes, fast food's definitely losing its appeal. It does, folks. See, like you're all so busy trying to fight against fast food and junk food that you don't realize if you just calm the fuck down and just pay attention to what it is and how it feels, that'll do the work for you. At least that'll do a lot of the work. And if it doesn't, then read a couple books or watch a couple documentaries about what that shit actually is and what it does to your body. That'll do a lot of the work. Oh, I don't care about that stuff, Jim. Oh, yeah. Well, I bet you do. Bet you do. Go watch a couple documentaries or read a couple books and see if it doesn't change how you think about it. Bet it does. Bet it does. What's this say? Oh, God, not Mario. Every time Mario wants me to react to something, I realize my life's about to be worse. My life's about to be worse. Shit I never thought was happening. Please react to Jelly Bean Sweet. She's blowing up on here for you'll see what. Mario, why do you do this to me? Trust me, it's not that bad. Okay, it's not that bad. I trust you, Mario. I always suggest to you the weird shit. You do. I know about big back in it. Jim says, my dad's been interrogating me about suddenly changing my diet. It's horrible. He gets so angry when I don't want to eat his home-cooked 1,200 calorie lunches. How do I deal with this? How do I talk to him? I think he feels betrayed in some way. I love those meals, but 3 times a day is crazy. Plus, when I get the munchies, it's over. Yeah. Again, I mean, this is one of those hidden factors of weight loss is that the people you're around, when you change your behavior, it affects rapport. It affects the relationship, and usually not in a positive way. And I don't know, like this never gets talked about. It's fucking major piece of the puzzle. And it's hard. I was hard for me, Yeah, my mom, she showed her love through cooking. And so when all of a sudden I start eating differently, she feels rejected. I get it now. Didn't get it then. Because just, oh my God, I'm doing this fucking hard thing. I'm doing this. I'm trying to make all these changes. It's hard. Everyone support me. Look, I'm doing something good and it's hard. Help me out. But that's not how people respond because they say, well, shit, now how am I going to show him I love him? Oh, he's rejecting me. He doesn't eat these foods anymore. It creates lots of weirdness. So I get it, Jim. You're not alone. And it's very, very common. So the question becomes, what am I going to do? And what I always did first, I think the first order of business when you're in a situation like this is that you need to really make sure your motivation is rock solid. And I think you get rock solid is, do I really want to lose weight? Do I really even care about my weight? And that's a question I've asked a million times to get to the point of why it matters to me so much. And so you need to keep the reasons why this matters to you front and center at all times. The food's front and center, you guys, all the time as well. If I took away commercials and food cues from your life, meaning if you never saw any fast food or junk food commercials, if you didn't, when you went into stores and all the rest of it, it was only like healthy foods in front of you, a month, 2 months into it, your cravings for shitty food would drop off a cliff, So, Yeah, Jim, I get it. So you start off with rock solid foundation, and then I think where you get to is that you basically you explain some of those against your dad. So I don't know where your level of communication with him's at. If you can have an honest, genuine conversation with him, explain where you're at and why you want to do it. Right. So I would always ask, do I even want to lose weight? Yes, I do. I don't want to die at 54 like my dad. I want to live a long life. I don't want to do this to my kids. I didn't have kids at the time, but I was like, I don't want to do that to my family. I want to live a long time. I want to be happy. I want to be healthy. I want to be successful. I can just go on and on about all the reasons I want to do it. So I felt rock solid then. And then I would get in the situation where maybe I'd be tempted by foods that people would make or want to give me, and I would have that solid motivation, and then I would communicate whatever I need to do to get me through the other side. Doesn't mean you got to go into a deep philosophical conversation with them. You can just come up with whatever gets you through the thing. You can say, I don't know, I'm just eating different. I don't know. I feel like eating less. I'm watching my weight a little. Maybe you don't want to say that. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just skip that. You say, I was looking to be healthier. I'm just changing my eating. I'm just playing around with some different stuff. Again, you got to figure out what can you say that gets you through the situation most successfully? And what can you say that triggers the situation to be the worst possible way? You know? And so you kind of figure out how can you get through this in the best way possible? And I know you can do it. It'll take a little trial and error and figuring things out though, but you can do it. Yeah. Julie says thin people don't have to make excuses for not wanting unhealthy food. True. That's true. No one hounds a thin person when they say they're not hungry. No one believes fat me doesn't want a brownie. I mean, it's true, folks. It's true. It's 100% true. And I will say, let's take that a step further. How are you communicating? If you're back on your heels, I'm trying not to. I'm trying to lose some weight. I'm trying to eat better. That is like waving a red flag in front of a bull for people. And it's like it becomes such a focus for them to get you to eat shit. And again, he's eating that. So it's like when you don't eat it, he feels rejected personally because you guys are probably bonded over eating that shit. All of a sudden he feels personally rejected. Oh, you're not going to eat what I eat. Oh, you're better than me. You're going to, you know what I mean? That shit can come up. So all sorts of stuff can come up from these interactions, And so again, I can't just give you one simple solution to it because it's unique for you and your relationship with your dad. And you know what I mean? It's unique. So you got to figure out how to get through it. But I will say that the way you communicate means a lot. So it's like, if you go in there and they make you something, you say, no, thank you. I don't want that. I already ate lunch. I'm done. I'm good. Speak with certainty. No, I don't want that. No, come on. You got to have it. No, I don't want it. Think of yourself as a thin, healthy person you want to be. It's true. I've seen it my own. I've seen it. People, when you're overweight, people, I don't know. It's like a club, and I get it. 72% of the population is overweight. Misery loves company, And so I think when all of a sudden somebody eats, I know this for a fact. I know people are uncomfortable around me. I know it because they think, oh, this guy eats well. I don't want to eat my bullshit in front of them. And then if they're eating with other people eating bullshit, it's a group, Shit. Well, I've already been restrictive. I'm not going to talk. I'm going to work and talk about drugs right out of my daily thing. So anyways, KT says, okay, now we need to know what fast food spot you went to. I know I don't like to say the specific ones, but if, because to be honest, I'm not even going to say which one it is because they're all fucking gross. I don't care what you all say. I know you think they're great, but it's because you eat there regularly and you got corrupted taste buds. Tough shit. I'm just saying it. So I'm not going to tell you which one because there's not a one that I think's any better. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Jim says, yeah, mom's dead. So yeah, we have a very close relationship and I will definitely try to explain it to him or suggest healthier recipes. Yeah, Jim. And I would say this, I wouldn't put any pressure on him. Let him do his own thing. Never say, let's get healthy together. I wouldn't do that. I would just say, I've really thought about things. Again, here's what I will tell you. When you communicate with someone who does love you and does care for you, I think you have to figure out the way that resonates with them best. So you may do it because you say, I don't know, I want to be healthier. And they may not give a shit about health. Well, it doesn't even matter anyways. It's hard. It's hard giving advice sometimes when I don't know all the specifics of the situation. And I don't want to just share my strategies because they may not resonate. But Yeah, if you can talk to them then, Jim, though. Again, be honest. You know what I mean? Oh my goodness. Jim says also last week my friend was like, "Damn, you got fat legs. Now it makes sense why you're dieting." Jesus. You all got some rude friends. Off topic, but I just want to say I appreciate your sound quality. Well, thank you. If you appreciate the sound quality on TikTok, on Instagram, it's even better, and Facebook and YouTube, because that's actually something I'm going to be doing too. I'm going to have a Facebook group. I am going to do that finally, but I realize what it's going to be. I thought about this. The Facebook group is going to be my PYT Spark program. I've kind of had it for a while, but the Spark thing is, it's just going to be, I'm going to put my, like these lives I do, I'll put a replay up there, and I'll just put my videos. I was going to like do stuff in there specific to the group. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that, because as soon as you start like, oh, here's this meal plan, or here's this thing, or here's this suggestion, it doesn't work out well in groups. So I'm just going to use this as an opportunity for people that like Facebook. This will be a group where you can see the replays of this. I'll probably put my TikTok reels and shit like that up there as well. YouTube videos that I do. And that's what that'll be. But anyways, that'll be there because I had some people say they like to connect with other people that are kind of this mindset. So that's something that's coming along the way as well. So, and it'll be great sound quality. I love sound quality. I'm a big fan of it. Don says, I have to share. I spent a week on the big island of Hawaii and came back down over a pound. Thank you, Jim. Your credit to my mind shift. That's pretty awesome, folks, right? Pretty good to go on vacation, come back a pound down, but you didn't diet the whole time. That's great. Good job, Don. Proud of you. Marcy says, I have misophonia. Your voice does not trigger it. I'm so glad. Misophonia. You know, I just, is this crazy? I was just hearing about some... Oh, that is interesting. Misophonia is a disorder in which certain sounds trigger emotional or physiological responses that some might perceive as unreasonable given the circumstances. Wow. I know someone who might have misophonia. It's me. I'm joking. I don't make light of it, but I'm very sensitive to sounds. Oh yeah, trigger a fight or flight response, perhaps. Well, I'm glad my voice doesn't trigger it. I would hope not, but you never know. I know it does in some people. Some people hate my voice, but most people like it enough. Well, I'm glad. Yeah, that'd be tough. Interesting. Jim says, why can't I tell him I want to also be healthy? He works out, but eats a lot and is definitely at least 35 pounds overweight. Yeah, Jim, because, you know, listen, dude, you got enough on your plate just dealing with your own behaviors. You know what I mean? Like, cause what's going to happen is you're going to be all sincere and genuine and give him all the reasons you want him to be healthy and all that stuff. And then he's not. And it's just another, you're going to get upset about that. It's just going to create, listen, you just focus on you. I say this to all of you. I mean, I do this professionally, and I don't do this shit with anyone I know in my personal life. I never once say, hey, you know, you should lose some weight, or you should think about losing weight, or you should get healthy, or you should eat better. Never. I say to my kids, you know, I'm a parent, but that's literally it. If someone asks me, that's a different story, but I never do it because, again, I've got my hands full with myself. And I know you all got your hands full with yourself. So do not worry about anyone else's weight or health. You just focus on your own. And if you are able to get yourself to a place where you're really happy and healthy with yourself, what will happen is people will say, wow, how do you do it? You look at you. How do you do it? And if they watched you go through a transformation and see it firsthand, hey, I'd like to, hey, how did you get these results? What did you do? Let them ask you. That's the best piece of advice I can give you, I think, you know, but go ahead and try it too. Again, I don't give a shit. I just give you best practices, folks. You know what I mean? Take it or leave it. I don't care. It works or it doesn't work, but if it doesn't work, just do something different, you know? But, yeah, Jim, he may not even want to lose weight. You know what I mean? We don't know. Most people don't want to lose weight. Don't get me started. Most people don't want to lose weight. They wish they'd lose weight, but they don't really want to lose weight. And so, you know, that's the problem right there in a nutshell anyways. You know, there's nothing more frustrating trying to help someone do something they don't want to do. It's one of the biggest traps you can get caught in. So, you know, I would save all that energy for yourself, Jim. But that's just a suggestion. Mackenzie says, so my mom on her diet drops has got my dad to start that diet too. The diet has me cringing, but at the same time, I'm happy for my obese dad because he's finally eating better in portion sizes. Yeah. Yeah. It's just good reminder, not worrying about your family. Needed that. Yeah. I say this to you again. You support them. You know what I mean? You support them, but don't support them too much either. Right? You ever done that? It's like, oh my God, look at you. Oh, you're eating so great. Oh, you lost 10 pounds. You look amazing. You're doing awesome. This is great. Oh, look at you eating. Right. And then the next week they're eating everything in sight and they're putting the weight on. And I just don't say anything. Right. And now it's weird. So I don't know. Deal with how you want, but I have found for me personally that everyone gets to do what they want to do. And like I said, I'm full up to here with me. So yeah, but I'm glad. Yeah. You're I don't know. That's what I don't know. Like the diet stuff. Yeah. Everyone, they'll do it for a little while and then not do it at all. So again, it's not even the dieting. I don't even mind the dieting. It's not like I learn a lot from the diets. I use aspects of the diets all the time. I'm not against dieting per se. I'm against the mindset, the dieting mindset, of the all or nothingness. So again, Mackenzie talks about like her mom's start a diet, get her dad who's obese on it, and he's eating better for a little bit. But what happens is so binary, right? It's like a switch. Oh, I'm on a diet now. Oh, now I'm off a diet. So all the things I learned and did are completely gone. It's just all or nothing. And it's like the worst strategy in the world. And so it's like, work on, I don't know, changing everything. Oh, now I don't feel like doing anything, but I'm going to keep up my portion control a little bit. Or, I don't know. Is that a crazy way to think? Anyways. Well, yeah, I realize my friends of mine are fake. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Jim says, but I'm so ready to lose the weight. Finally, it's very important for me. Jim, that's the space you want to stay in, and again, it comes from the question, do I even want to lose weight? You ask that genuinely. It's a genuine question because a lot of you are making the biggest mistake you're making is you assume you want to lose weight. And you don't want to lose weight. It's not that you don't want to lose weight. It's this that you want to keep eating and living the way you're living more than you want to lose weight. You want to lose weight here. You want to keep eating the way you're eating and living the way you're living is up here. So this one wins, right? If you're not losing weight, this is what's going on. It's not rocket science. And so instead of telling yourself, oh yeah, I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. When this is a situation where your wants down here, I want to lose weight more than anything. I want to lose weight more than anything. No, you don't. You're fucking lying to yourself and you're confusing yourself and you're grinding yourself down to a pulp because it starts to create this idea. Well, I want to lose weight more than anything. I'm not. Well, then what's wrong here? There must be something wrong with my metabolism. It must be my menopause. It must be my age. Must be my genetics. Must be my environment. Must be this. Must be that. Must be that. Must be something because I want to lose weight more than anything. And I'm not losing weight. Yeah, it's because you don't really want to lose weight. So the question, do I even want to lose weight genuinely? Asking that and then fucking answering it genuinely. If you say, Jim, do you really want to lose weight? I could talk for 3, 4, 5 hours about all the reasons I want to lose weight. Because I've asked that question so many times. I reflected on, do I really want to lose weight? Do I really care? Because you'll ask that, of course I want to lose weight. But why? Because I can see inside your brain. And I know the reason you want to lose weight, you want to look better. That's about it. And for me, I've got all these other reasons I want to lose weight that are as important to me as anything. And so I'm way more motivated. I'm way more motivated. I'm talking about your little blip of motivation. Oh, if I'm going to eat keto all week and I didn't lose any weight. I'm talking about, I'm so motivated. I'm motivated for 30 years. Motivated. Real motivation. The motivation you have to be the parent you want to be. The motivation when you're a parent, you don't feel like getting off the sofa, but you have to feed your kid. That motivation. The motivation when you don't want to go to work and you're laying in bed, but you go to work. That motivation. Real motivation. And if you're not losing weight, it's because you don't have that motivation. Do you disagree with that? Oh, yeah. Marcy says, yeah, the sound quality for the hypnosis recordings is so good. I can't hear any extra noises. Well, I'm happy to hear that. I got an awesome microphone. It's the same microphone Michael Jackson used to record Thriller. It's a true story. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, the sound quality is awesome. Yeah, folks, it's a professional recorder. I'm a clown show here. I'm one of the highest paid hypnotists on the planet. Of course, I got good equipment. I'm glad to hear that. Don says 0 diets ever. Yes. Yep. Yeah, there. KT's got it, right? You could tell him that, but if he's not ready to, he may get defense or even hurt. Oh, I got misophonia as well. It can really ruin a dinner. Oh, tell me about it. My kids won't eat aphonia. That's not so bad anymore, but that used to ruin my dinners. Kid wouldn't eat his fucking food. Oh, Mario, what did he say? I don't remember what you said now. I forget the person. If you're here, can you write that one more time? What did you say it was? Jelly beans? Jelly sweets? Mario will lead me down the dark side of the internet. Jelly sweets. Yeah, there you go. We weigh what we want. We weigh what we want. Pretty much. Is it true hypnosis or subliminal stuff just won't work for some people, or is that a myth? Hypnosis works for everyone. I mean, everyone uses hypnosis, right? You ever watch a movie or a TV show, folks? Have you ever watched a movie or a TV show? What do you think that is? Do you not think that's hypnosis? Are you not in a relaxed, calm state, passive state where you're imagining whatever you're watching? You're vicariously experiencing whatever you're watching. And if you're watching a horror show, you feel nervous and tense. If you watch a comedy, you're laughing, you feel lighthearted, and you're breathing. If you watch a thriller, you're anxious about what's going to happen. You watch a sporting event, you got adrenaline, you're sitting up, you watch the Olympics, right? Right? So at the end of the day, it's just light and sound coming in your ears that your imagination makes real. You experience it firsthand, and what? You get the experiences that you would get if you were in that situation. So it's your imagination making real feelings in your body. Literally, you watch sports, your body starts releasing adrenaline. You sit in your ass in the same room that you're, just sitting there on a sofa. Why would you release adrenaline all of a sudden? Think about that. So everyone goes into hypnosis constantly. And the main way that you're putting yourself into hypnosis all day long is your internal dialogue. You are up in your head talking to yourself all day and night. Okay? So what you're saying to yourself is probably the number one thing impacting your weight, because you're in there talking to yourself 24 hours a day. That's why I always say in the hypnosis world that you are your best or worst hypnotist, because I don't know what you're saying, but if you're overweight, I can almost guarantee you it's because the voices you got in your head, So the subliminal stuff and actual hypnosis sessions, do they work? I think most hypnosis programs don't work. I think most hypnotists have no clue what they're doing, to be honest. I was one of them at one point. I call them scriptnotists. They just read a script, the same script for everyone. And what I do is on a completely different level in a completely different strategic universe. But so I think the way I think of hypnosis is it's more guided meditation, where I'm putting you in a relaxed, calm state, which is useful in and of itself. And you're turning your attention inwards, which is really useful. And then I'm putting positive stuff in your mind. And so do you listen to a hypnosis session and come out a changed person? I mean, yes and no, not in the way you think, but do you become a more relaxed, calm, healthier thinking version of yourself? Yeah. And each session I do is built around a mantra, and I reinforce that mantra. Like I email you or I send it to your phone and it tells you what the mantra that day is going to be. So now you visually say, what's a mantra? Consistency over intensity, right? And so you see that mantra, it's right in the email, and then you read the email, you click on a link that says consistency in a mantra. Then it brings you to a page where it says consistency over intensity. And then there's a quote about consistency that kind of brings it further. Then you listen to the session where I say consistency over intensity a bunch of times in different ways, so it goes into your brain. And then you go into your day, and the chances you think about consistency and the power of that goes up. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like the way you think about hypnosis is goofy because they've goofified it in this culture. It's basically when you hear positive, encouraging, supportive messages over and over and over again, they make a difference. Every commercial you see is a hypnosis session. Do they ever stick with you? You may think not, but they do. That's why they spend billions and billions of dollars of ads on them. So do subliminal, listen to subliminal things going to change your behavior? Probably not. I don't believe in subliminal stuff. I don't believe in it. I believe in, spoken words, and I do believe in hypnosis. I don't believe in the subliminal stuff. Jelly bean sweets, right? Jelly bean sweets. What does she do? Eat as many? Was she like 1,000 jelly beans at a sitting or something? I used to love jelly bellies. I'm kind of coming out of that a bit though. Lisa McKenzie wrote, "Ooh, that's another thing. My mom was saying since she's over 50, her metabolism is different, so she has to stop eating pork, no fruit in the evening, et cetera, et cetera. I just don't buy it." Yeah, that's bullshit. Stop eating pork. I mean, I think she's probably gonna be better off not eating pork, but not because she's over 50, probably. That's funny. I second you reviewing jelly bean sweets on TikTok. If you remember Nico Cotto Avocado, he gained a lot of weight filming mukbangs, eating lots of food on camera, and Jelly Bean is doing the same. Oh, I see. I did see. It's so funny you say that. I saw a couple. I wonder if this was them. I just saw a couple, and they do like the eating videos, and it showed them like when they started and where they're at now. And they look, each of them looks 200 pounds heavier, if I had to guess. So yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, not a huge fan of all that. And I will tell you about the metabolism changing as you get older. And this is a shout out to my Joan, who's in the program, is women in well, people in general, but women specifically in Japan. Their BMI stays the same their whole adult lives. So what are we going to say about that? What do we got to say about that, folks? Japanese women, what's up? It may have something to do with the way they eat, which is interesting in and of itself. Yeah, she's literally mainstream now just for eating. Yeah, I'm sure. She triggered Marcy's misophonia. She might trigger mine then too. That's what happened. Oh, I'm not gonna say it. Oh, it's a feeder account, makes money overeating. Yeah, I mean, I know that stuff. I know that like the mukbang stuff. I find that I just find it grotesque. I do. I mean, you understand, folks. My dad died of a heart attack at 54. He was obese. He wasn't a healthy eater. So I find like the overeating thing, the heart attack grill, I find stuff like that. It's like if someone's parent died of a drug overdose and there's people like, glamorizing doing lots of drugs. Do you know what I mean? So I know my response is a little different than the norm, but my background, I don't find it amusing. I don't know. When you live in a culture where, weight related issues are the number one cause of preventable death at this point. I don't get the humor. I don't know, but anyways, yeah. Joe Max says the American diet is so gross. It is. It's fucking disgusting. It's disgusting. The American diet is the grossest diet on the planet, I think. Do you have any videos on meal prep? No, I don't. And that's something I will be doing more of it in the future is more meal prep videos and just cooking videos. So y'all can see what healthy food looks like, yeah. All right, says I've replaced my late night eating with watching some healthy cooking YouTubes. Well, Marcy, that's a great strategy. That is brilliant. Brilliant. That's great. Yeah, KT, so I'll be definitely looking up jelly bean sweets later too. Sometimes watching that stuff though is good. Sometimes going completely to the opposite spectrum and just staring the whatever, the behavior right in the face, sometimes it can be helpful. Says, don't waste time on jelly bean, just trying to get attention, being ridiculous and see it works. Yeah, I know how that goes. I know that. They walk a lot. Oh. What's up, Gail? Gail says, I struggle with all the parties and the family get-togethers. Yeah, that's a tough one for most people. That's a challenge. But Gail, what I would suggest, it's kind of reframing it. I get it. I mean, we all have struggles in lives, right? I mean, obviously. But when we have a struggle in life, we want to start to reframe it with a challenge mindset. Okay. Meaning we get it's hard, but what we say is, okay. And a lot of this happens through the redo rehearsal technique. So when you go to a party or you go to a family get together and you overeat, that's the perfect opportunity to redo it in your head. Know what I know now, if I go back in time, And then you do the redo technique on it. What could I have done differently? And if you learn one little thing, you're better off the next time it comes up. And then next time it comes up, you're rehearsing it, preparing yourself to go into that in a situation. The redo rehearsal technique's really the core of the program yourself then method, And so again, Gail, it's okay to struggle with things, but let your focus be there. So if I can get a handle on going to parties and family get-togethers, I'm going to have way more control over my weight. So this is really worth it to me. I'm going to really focus on this and get better at it, and then get better at it, because you will, Yeah. Geo Max says, I don't even enjoy eating out anymore. I get you. I get you. I love eating out at like good places, but I really don't. The appeal of eating out at fast food or junk food is really goes down, 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 down. Especially the better stuff you put in your body. It just loses a lot of its appeal. I promise you. The mindset stuff too. You can't just eat, healthy food, but it does help. All right, everyone, I'm going to get out of here. Again, if you are not part of my world, follow me on whatever social media you follow me on. You get notified when I put new videos out. What else? Yeah, click the link in my bio. I don't think I've mentioned that all day, so I'm out of practice. If you're not in my world, my email world is, make sure that you go to the link in my bio, click the link, get the hypnosis session I give you. It's free. Watch the video I made for you. That's free. Read the emails I send you every day. Those are free. Then if you choose to, if you want to step it up, you get my program, that's there for you as well. But I give you lots of free stuff in the meantime. I got lots of stuff coming your way. So make sure you get on my email list. All right. And then if you like the podcast, we do it live every day, Monday through Friday, usually around noon Eastern. And you can ask whatever questions you have. Anything's welcome. There's no dumb questions. There's dumb questions, but so what? There's nothing wrong with asking a dumb question. Don't feel dumb because of that. So, but there are dumb questions, right? We get them here every day. But that's okay. And then if you want to listen to those podcasts, yeah, that's Program Yourself Thin's the name of the podcast, and it's on all the podcast platforms, and it is also on YouTube. The videos are on YouTube, and I put them up there. But like I said, I am going to be this week here over on Facebook. If you're a Facebook person, then I'm going to set up I have a group set up. I got to tweak it a little bit. I'm going to get rid of I'll let anyone join it. And then if everyone's a dipshit, I'll kick them out. I think that's where I'm going to go. Cause before I had to prove people, none of that, So, I'll just put my replays up there, but that'll be another place where, we'll see how that goes. It's one of my fears is running a group, but I'm going to set this group so there's not much opportunity for people that say dumb things to say dumb things. That's my dream. So we'll see how that goes. Anyways. All right. So those are all the things. So thank you so much, guys. It's great to be back. I hope you all have a super day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.